Saturday morning we're going to be producing a Vienna lager, which is an amber German lager style. First thing we're going to do is start looking at our ingredients and our water required to do the mash and the sparge, and we'll be filling that up, and I'll be stepping you through the whole process all the way through into the kettle and then into the fermenter, so you'll get to see the whole thing start to finish. Alright, this is my water filter setup that you can see here, as I've shown you on the brewery tour that you may have seen. Our recipe requires 22 litres of water into the mash. So what I've got here is I've got a plastic container here that's got the litre levels made on it with a 10 litre mark there. All I'll do is I'll start filling that with rainwater, filtered rainwater, and we'll get 22 litres and then we'll pop it in here into the mash tun. Now, what we also have to do as an aside is actually get our mash tun ready. My mash tun has got a filter bed on the bottom, which is supported by a ring. What we'll do is we'll get our mash tun prepared while the water's being filtered. What I've got here is I've got my little supporting ring right there, and then the filter bed, which I'll give you a closer look. It's actually comprised of fine stainless steel mesh with a supporting structure welded on the bottom with some little screws welded through it, and they join together like that inside the mash tun to form the filter bed on the bottom. So just assemble that quickly while the water is filling up there. What I'll do is I'll put it together like that, slide it in, bend it, tighten the screws up. Alright, so we're about halfway through our first 10 litres of water. Just finish assembling this right here real quick. And there, that's done. While this water's continuing, I'll just give you a bit of a step through. This here is the March pump, magnetically coupled pump. What I do here is I hook this up here to the mash tun, so it comes out from underneath the filter bed, through the March pump, up through the heating elements, and then back in, so it recirculates the wort during the whole mash process. Alright, we're almost at our first 10 litres. This here is my recirculating sparge arm. Just got to watch this 10 litres here. I'll connect that up there, and that's what recirculates the mash wort fluid back over the mash in the tun. There we go, that's 10 litres right there. You can see it's basically just a copper manifold that's soldered together with silver solder, not lead solder. A series of hole drills in it to let the wort flow through. Alright, so that's our first 10 litres there. We'll just pour that into the mash tun here, making sure that the taps are all off. Like I said, the recipe requires 22 litres of water, so that's our first 10. I can go over here and mark that down on my computer to say that I've added 10 litres of water. And then we start measuring out the next 10. I always start on my water first because I can actually start the system running to get it up to strike temperature. And strike temperature is the temperature that the water needs to be when you tip the grain in to get it to the initial mash temperature. This here is a copper pipe that I've got my temperature sensor embedded in there, and that runs off to the computer to monitor the temperature. I just pop that in there so it can start detecting the temperature as is. We'll fill this mash tun up now with the rest of the water, and then we'll come back. Alright, this is our hot liquor tun. It's what we use to heat the water up to sparge the mash when it's completed, to rinse all the sugars out and put it into the boiler. What I'm going to do now is my recipe calls for 36 litres of sparge water. So what I'll do is I'll take my sparge stirrer off and then climb up here and make sure I've got no creepy crawlies in there, crawling in through there. I've got my first 10 litres of water measured out here. So all I do is just dump that in. And then once we've got our 36 litres of water in there, we're almost fully ready to go with our mash. What I'll do is I'll get the cameraman to come over here and take a picture of what's inside the tun, show you what it looks like with the water sitting in there. So off you go, cameraman. Alright, so what we've got here is we've got it fully set up. You can see my sparge recirculator here, heading into the water down there. You can see our water right there. Here's our temperature probe here. You can see the filter bed that I installed a little bit earlier in the segment. And pretty much that is all ready to go to start heating up for the strike. What I'll do now is I'll install some insulation around the mash tun here so that we're not wasting too much energy just heating up the air. So I'll hand it back to the cameraman and we'll go from there. Alright, this is my very primitive insulation. It's actually a polyester insulation bat, but I'll tell you what, it works a treat. I really do want to get round to making a proper removable insulation body for it, but till I get round to that, this thing here works a treat and I will continue to use it. So let me get myself organised here. That goes around there. Goes there. Just pull that up and sit it like that. Got another piece of it over here. Just gets yanked up through there to form the insulation. As I said, very primitive, but boy oh boy does it work well. So pretty much now that mash tun is ready to go. All we've got to do is finish filling up our sparge water up here and then start weighing our grain out and crush it. And then we'll be into the mash. We'll be right back.